Chris Van Vliet in Parma, Ohio for PRIME Wrestling's Wrestlelution 6 with the man-beast himself, Rhino, who will be getting in this ring later on tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You know, once again, back in Ohio wrestling for PRIME Wrestling, and yeah, it's going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah, a lot of people watching this will certainly know you from ECW, certainly know you from TNA, certainly know you from WWE as well. You feel like you've been everywhere. How different is it working in those type of shows versus working in something like this?
You know what? You go out there and you give it your all. You know, whether there's 10 people in the crowd or 10,000 or 50,000. So, you know, it's always a great turnout here. And definitely looking forward. You know, you get your game going, and it's more of an intimate setting. I understand that, and the crowd's always live and, you know, pretty intense, so you can feed off that. So it's with the intimate setting, it's nice, you know, but it's always a treat when you get to go out there and perform. So
when we talk about those other places where you've worked, what's your takeaway from each one of those? What's your takeaway from ECW and TNA and WWE that has made you the performer that you are now?
It's just like when I went, I wrestled over in Germany for a couple seasons, and then from there, you know, I was able to learn off of a lot of great wrestlers like Fit Finlay, and then the first season I was over there, he was there, you know, Robbie Brookside, you know, a lot of great talent. And then from there I went to ECW, and I learned a lot from Sabu, you know, and it was just a gradual step. And then from there I went to WWE, and I learned a lot too. And every step I learned more and more because I wanted to, and I wanted to get better at my craft. And then TNA, you know, I learned a lot too, you know, but more or less the business side of it. And then, you know, with Ring of Honor and Independence, I've always been very familiar with independence. It's not like, you know, because I was on the independent scene for like 5 years, so it's not foreign to me. And, you know, what's nice is because I deal with individual promoters, and each promoter, they work their own way, you know, and they have their own personality. So, you know, it's nice to, you know, talk business and, you know, and certain things with them too. And, you know, when you get to the show, a lot of them are promoting you a certain way, you know, as far as like who you're wrestling or whatever. So it's good to get the backstory and try to, you know, every time it keeps you on your feet, more or less, you know. So, but yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. So
when you were wrestling in ECW, it was like such a vastly different product from what WWE or WF at the time was putting out. Did you ever think that one day you'd be actually in WWF?
I think that's everybody's goal. If it's not, to be the best and work for the best organization, you know, whatever it may be, then you know, you always want to be the best in life, you know, whether it's family, faith, occupation, you know, passion. You always want to do your best. And I mean, if people don't, that's kind of foreign to me, you know.
Well, now there's guys that put it on T-shirts and, you know, they sell them.
What's that?
Best in the world.
Oh, yeah. And they sell a lot of them, too.
Yeah, they sell an awful lot of them.
So it's just, I didn't know when, but I knew, you know, I was going there. So, but, yeah, it was a treat, man. It was pretty cool.
When you look back at your career right now, what's the one match that stands out to you and you go, you know, that was just a great moment, a great match. I'm so glad I got to do that.
It's actually never happened. It's tonight, right here. Against Crimson. No, I'll believe it or not, and this is for the fans. You know, if you see a show coming to town, you know, it's like that concert. You're like, oh, I should go. You know, blah. I don't know if I want to go. And then it's just like, oh, you don't go, but your buddy goes, and it's like, oh man, you missed a hell of a concert, and you're like, oh, I wish I was there. And they're not televised, right? Yeah. One of my top 5 best matches, and it was against Booker T.
Okay.
It was in TNA. It was in Liverpool. We had a double shot. It was a smaller building, about 3,000 people, right around there. We'll just say 2,500 people it sat. Sold it out both nights. I worked him the second night. He was a heel, but they still love Booker, you know, the whole angle and all that stuff. So I was a babyface, so we go out there, and we had no story, no program, but they loved us both. But he was such a heel. He stuck with it. They really got with me, and they were the loudest for that match. They were loud throughout the whole night, but it just clicked. And, you know, and what I really like about that match is tells the fans, you know, don't miss the opportunity of going to a show because you might be part of something. I mean, that's something that just Booker and I were part of, and then the 2,500 people in attendance was part of. And it was just, and a fan was at, a few days later, we were in a different town, and he came up to me when I was doing an autograph session. He said, man, that match you and Booker had was off the chart, and it was just a good wrestling match. And I did the Spinaroonie. I attempted to. Because he went for it, and then everybody's like, okay, we got to see this, you know? It's like going to see your favorite rock band, and they don't play their song, right? And then they start playing it, you know, and then they stop. That's what he did. He goes to do it, goes down, gets up. They booed him. He come at me, goes shoots me up under spine buster. He went under the ropes. I seen the open ring. I'm like, Spinaroonie. It was the worst in history.
Can we find video of this online?
And that's the special thing. That's my point. Is the only people that'll ever. That was a moment that we shared with 2,500 people. You know, and it was a great card. But that match, man. He even said that. It was funny. A couple days, or no, the next day, he goes, "Man, you ever have the people react to you like that?" I go, "Every night, Book." Every night. He laughed. But yeah, it's one of those things where everything just clicked, you know?
The Gore might, quite frankly, be one of the most violent-looking finishing maneuvers in wrestling. Is there ever a time when you feel like you have to let up and maybe not give it your all?
Paul London's in the
Paul London right here. There's Paul London. Yeah.
Trying to make me laugh, and he's succeeded at that. As far as...
Yeah, is there ever a time you feel like you have to let up and maybe just give 90% and not completely run through the guy?
Well, if I'm getting the crap kicked out of me and I'm like, man, no, you want to give it your all, you know? So it's one of those things where, you know, if you got a bad wheel or something's bothering you and, you know, you can't perform at your peak, then, you know, yeah, maybe, but yeah, other than that, I'm laying it in. Better them than me.
I mean, it looks like you could potentially really hurt someone with that.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. I hopefully I never make someone crap their pants because I have to cover them right after that. So I'm trying to keep this PG-13. That's why I didn't say shit.
Yeah. No,
but
well, there you go. Well, Rhino,
on purpose.
Rhino, thank you so much for your time. I really
I should have cussed right off the bat. We wouldn't have had to
We're
do
good.
this
I
interview.
really appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you so
very
much. We're going to go do some Spinaroonies now.
Sweet. Well,